Okay, so before we move to the next one, which is transformation, data transformation for categorical variables, I forgot to net this one in the previous video. So let's net to PDF the previous work. So this is the way that we can see the work that we have done before. So this is the scenario, the patients, we call it patients. So the first thing, we imported data, we export the data set, we have a BMI variable, created BMI variable, and we created the age variable, and so on. So we can create this report, and you can add some text, some narratives, and some interpretation for your work. Okay, so let's close this. Let me close this, and we created another data, what do we call it, R markdown again, to continue working on this scenario. Let me clean this, by the way, R list, and let me remove everything here. So now we have the same scenario, which is the same patients, the same data set, right? And the first thing we're going to do is importing the data. So we have my data, 400. We look at the structure already, but now let's look at the data again. We did some work on this data in the previous file, in the previous video, the previous recording. And yes, you can use the previous one, because what we are going to do is we are going to do more work on what we have done. But because I'm just starting like a new ideas, that's why I started from scratch. But let's go back and look at the questions that we're going to deal with. Now we will be reducing number of categories of the variable race to 4 by combining the two least frequent categories. Name the new category other. How many observations are in the other category? Okay, we have many questions in one question. So the question says reduce the number of categories. So we need first to see the categories and how many observations in each category for the race, right? So there is a nice function here. There is a nice function called table. Table is used to tabulate the counts of elements in a vector in a data frame. So it's give you the counts. So what does table do? It goes, for example, to the race and look at the categories and give you the count for each category. It's a nice function, table. So we're gonna use table. Don't get confused between table and length, by the way. The length is different. Length, what comes inside the length, if you have which inside the length, so it counts the cases, the observations. But table is not the length. Table, it goes to the vector and look at the categories and count how many in each category, how many observations for each category. So this is the table function. So first, let's review the race categories. So we're going to use table function. Table is a very important function. Race. So we have American Indian, 30. We have Asian, 67. We have Hispanic, 103. We have Black, 96. We have White, 104. Good. So now at least we know the two least categories. And the two least categories, we have the American Indian and we have the Asian. So these two, we are going to combine them in one group. We're going to call it other. Okay, so combine American Indian and Asian Pacific Islander into other group. Let's say the other group. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, so we want to combine these now. To combine these, I remember we used a if-else function, right? Because this is what we have to think about. Why is that? Because let's go here. We have no problem with the first observation. He's white. Second one, black. No problem with this. We have a problem with this. Asian Pacific Islander. We have a problem with, where is it? Not Hispanic. No, we have a problem with two categories. So every one here, we don't have problems with in terms of, the names, we're going to keep them as they are. But we would like to change this Asian to other, the new variable called, the new category, sorry, called other, not a new variable, new category. So we're going to call this other. Also, there is another, which one? The American Indian also, we're going to change it to other. So I would like R to go to this column. So this is important. I would like R to go to my data sign race, go here, then look at the first one. If the first one is American Indian or Asian, change it to other. Otherwise, keep it. Look, It's just simple. I mean, the way that I said it is the way that we're gonna write it down, but using symbolic way. Look at the first observation. If it's American Indian or Asian, change it to other. Otherwise, keep it. What does this mean? We are doing if else. We are doing if else. So we are going to go to my data, go to race, if else, go to my data, race. If it is American Indian, you have to be very specific, very careful in terms of using the wording here, okay? It's case sensitive. And or, this is or, my data race is Asian / Islander. So go to the race column. This is my condition. Go to the race. If the race is American Indian or if the race is Asian, comma, then change it to other. Other than this, keep it as is. Keep it as my data race. Don't change it. Enter or command enter. Let's go there. Close this. Open it again. Look at them. So this is other. This is changed to other. How to check this? Use table. Table. My new or my updated race. It's updated again. So it's updated. You have Hispanic 103, Black 96, White 104, other 97. So we have the 4 variables now. The question says, how many observations are in the other category? So we need to count how many in the other category, right? We have 97. We have 97 in the other category. So in the second part, so the first part, what did we do? We just reduced number of categories from 6 to 4. So this is the first technique, which is categories reduction. The second part says transform the race variable with the new categories into dummy variables. This is the second technique, which is creating dummy variables. And the race, if you look at the race, we have 4 categories. And the question says use the most frequent race category in the data as the reference category. Because how many categories we have? We have 4 categories now. We have Hispanic, we have Black, we have White, we have other. Because we have 4 categories, so number of the dummy variables is going to be 3 variables. So we're going to create a new or 3 new variables. So 3 new columns. Every one contains a category. But the one that will not have a space, will not have a new column, which is going to be the reference category. What is the reference category? The question says, use the most frequent race category to be the reference category. Which one has the most frequent? Is the white. In the white we have 104 observations. So the white is going to be our reference category. So this is kind of strange, but we're going to do this right now. And why we are going to use this? I mean, later we're going to use this. Chapter 8 or 9, we are going to use chapter 7. We are going to use the dummy variables. But now let's create them because we have to. Again, since we have, let me write here some stuff. Since we have 4 groups, so, 4 categories in the race variable, so k equals 4, right? So number of dummy variables will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. The reference variable is non-Hispanic white, because it's the most frequent. This is from the previous part. You can do this. You can check right now here. You can check table, my data that are assigned race. Okay. So we're going to create 3 variables. So we're going to add 3 columns to this. 3 columns. The first column is going to be my data Hispanic. We call it Hispanic, right? Hold on, what did I do first? Yeah, American Indian, okay. Hispanic. So the first one is going to be Hispanic. So we're going to use what? We're going to go there. Let me just show you what's going to happen. We're going to ask R to go to the race. Go to the race. And if you see a Hispanic, change it to 1. Other than this, it's going to be 0. No, don't do this. This is wrong. What I said is wrong. We're going to add a new column here, empty column. We're going to call it Hispanic. Then we're going to go to R. We're going to ask R to go to the race. Go to the race. If you see Hispanic, report 1 here in the new column. If you see other than Hispanic, report 0. So R is going to go to the first one, to the Hispanic column. He's going to put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, Hispanic 1, 0, 0, etc. So that's why we're going to create a column, new column called Hispanic, but we're going to use otherwise, so put this, otherwise put 0. So what kind of function we're going to use? Correct, if else, if else, if else. Go to my data race and look at this. Look at the my data race. If it's equal to Hispanic, return 1, otherwise return 0. Let's go. This is Hispanic column. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So if you look at the first observation, he's not Hispanic. This is not Hispanic. This is not Hispanic. This is Hispanic. So we're going to repeat this. We're going to repeat this for other categories. We have the black category and we have the what? The other category. So this is going to call it black now. Go to the race. If you see it, none, Hispanic, black, give me 1. Otherwise, give me 0. The last one, my data, is going to be the other group, other. Go to the race. If it's other, give me 1. Otherwise, give me 0. These are the 3 dummy variables that we have created. Run. Go there. So you have Hispanic, black, others. Someone's going to tell me, oh, what about the first observation? All of them are zeros. Yeah, all of them are zeros. That means he's from the reference category, which is white. So this person is a white person. Look at him. Yes, he's white. Look at this person, number 4, 0, 0, 0, white. What about this one? 0, 1, 0. He's black, yes. We can't have more than ones in a row. It should be one of these cases, right? Or we can have all zeros. That means he's from the reference category. Do we need to add another column and call it? No, we can have a redundant value. There is no need to add a new category called white. Again, number of dummy variables is going to be number of categories minus 1. So we've done the dummy variables now, and we will be seeing how we're going to use this in the future. The last technique we used is what? Is changing the scores, right? So changing the scores. The variable education contains 4 orders categories. Replace the category names with category scores ranging from 1 to highest. What is the average category score for education? First of all, let's look at the education first. What do we have? So we're going to look at table. So review the categories of education by using the table. So college, we have college, 111 cases. We have graduates, 90. We have high school, 94. We have some college, 105. So what is the lowest one? Is the high school. So this is the lowest case, the lowest category. The second category, some college. The third category, college. And the top one is graduate. So we have an order here, right? We have an order. And the question says we have to replace the category names using, we're going to have numeric numbers. So we're going to replace the names by numbers. So we're going to go to this here. This is the education. We're going to ask R that, hey, go to the education column and replace the names by numbers. If you see college, replace it by number, what? 3, 3. If you go to high school, if you see high school, that means replace it with number 1. Some college, we have number 2. Number 2. So replace college with 3. This is 1. This is 2, 2, 2, 1. So go to the education. We will not create a new column. We're going to use the same column. Go to college column. Go to number 1. If it's college, or let's say, if it's high school, because this is the lowest, replace it with 1. Otherwise, look again. If it's some college, put 2. Or if it's not some college, look again. If it's college, put 3. So it's going to put 3 here. So because we're going to work on the same column, okay, we will be using, you have to pay attention now, we will be using something called nested if else. So it is if else. So we'll be using if else, but it's going to be nested. So I'll be careful here. So replace the names with the scores. So replace my data, go to my data, education, if else, my data, education. If the my data education equals HS, give me 1. Okay. If you see high school, replace it with 1, comma. Otherwise, if it's not 1, do if else again. If else, my data, education. It's not high school. What's the next step? Some college. Give it 2. If it's some college, so go to my data, go to the education column. If it's high school, 1. Otherwise, look again. If it's some college, put 2. Otherwise, if else again. One more time, nested. My data, education equals college, put 3. Otherwise, if else, my data, education, graduate, right? Oh, how many How many do we have? Oh, we have only 4. So there's no need for this. Let me delete this. If else, go to the education. If it's high school, give me 1. Other than this, otherwise, look again. Look again. That means if else. If it's some college, 2. If it's not some college, if it's some college, put 2. Then we're done. If it's not some college, look again. If else. If it's college, give it 3. If it's not 3, absolute is going to be 4. That's it. Absolute is going to be 4. So this is the nested if else. So every time the R is going to check the condition. Every time it's going to check the second condition, the third condition. If it's a true. If the first condition is true, give me 1. If it's false, go check. If it's true, give me 2. If it's false, go to the third condition. Again, check true, 3, false, 4. That's it. Then all of the values now will be changed. Run this. We close my data. These are the educations. 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, etc. So it replaced all of the values. You can check the class now. My data, education, it's a numeric. So the question says, what's the average category score for the education? We can check the mean now because it's a numeric. So find the mean. My data, education. So the average of the education is about 2.5. 2.5 means we are above like the average of the people have some college degree or something. It's above 2, less than 3, so it's kind of in the middle. Okay. If you'd like to find the median, you can do so. So the median is a 3. So the middle value is people have a college degree. So these are the patients. So we have done 3 techniques and we have used very good functions. Category reduction, the first part. Second part, we've done the dummy variable. And the last one, we've done changing the scores. Changing the scores, we change the score for 1 column, so that's why we use the if else. It's a very common approach. So all of these functions, all these approaches are very common to be used. Thank you.